Hey guys.
Hey guys, this is Alyssa. She's a good friend of mine, and today we are doing a podcast on her journey of self awareness, mental health, all those kinds of things. And yeah, so if you want to go ahead and start, I think we should start with what really got you into making the content that you make.
So, when I moved out to Vegas, it's been about a year and some change now. Um, Up until that moment, I was dealing with a lot of serious mental health issues. Not really issues, but just my thoughts, my lack of self-discipline, my lack of self-esteem. Um, it really affected a lot on my life as far as my growth and just kind of being in this comfort zone and not really getting out of my shell. Um, I've mentioned in my videos that content is something that I wanted to do for a very long time, but it takes discipline, it takes self confidence, it takes consistency in order to be that successful content creator. And so coming out here, it forced me to get out of my comfort zone as far as from living with my dad, my whole life, and then coming all the way across the country and having to figure out everything on your own. It helped build that confidence and build up my self esteem because I'm proving to myself that I can. With everything that I've had questions in my mind before, like, can I ever afford an apartment? Can I ever get out of this current situation that I'm in? And I've always wanted out so bad, but again, just didn't have that self confidence to really believe that I could. So, getting into content and me just kind of overcoming that huge obstacle within myself, I thought that it would be good to share with others who may be struggling with the same thing that I was struggling with to get out of their comfort zone, start pursuing what it is that they want to pursue. Mine just so happens to be content. And I thought, like, as I'm working on my journey, which is still going to this very day, it's just never ending,
Mm-hmm.
um, to help inspire those who need that extra push that may not have it at home, that are struggling with the same thoughts that I was struggling with. And I also believe in influencers that are impactful. I see what we have out here as far as role models, what is pushed, and it's not the best. It's not, I don't know how to say it.
I just feel like, I mean, like from like my point of view as like
Mhm.
fitness. Like I feel like if you're not exposing yourself, you're never gonna go anywhere. So I understand it.
That's the thing. Yes, no,
Yeah.
because there's this thing called like you cannot fear being seen. If you feel like you're meant to be big, if you feel like you want to be an advocate for people and putting yourself out there, you kind of have to release all those limitations that you've placed on yourself
Hmm.
and don't be afraid to put yourself out there. So we this generation consumes so much content. We're always scrolling, we're watching other people's lives, and just from me, it's felt like I was behind in life. I would be jealous or insecure of what the next person had, or just not really happy because I wasn't there. And you go online and this is all you see. There's not really any realness to it. What's going on
Yeah.
behind the camera? Are these people really happy? Are they struggling? We don't see that. We just see what people post. So it's very easy to get consumed in it and just feel like it and just feel bad. But I just try to be real with my content and very transparent to know that I'm not perfect and to where I'm at when with making my content. It took me like 10 years to finally start YouTube and to
Oh no,
finally
like I totally understand.
I've always
Yeah.
wanted to do it. I would start and stop. I would do what was trending, what was getting views, what was popular, because I wanted that. I wanted that, the subscribers, I wanted the views, I wanted the lifestyle that came with it. But it really has to be authentic to you in order for it to work. And I feel like I'm just very passionate on mental health. I feel like I've always been really good at talking to people and kind of help giving them that push. Um, but I would never take that advice myself.
Mhm.
I would never take that advice myself. But now I finally am, and I see where it's gotten me. So that's what kind of inspired me to make the content that I do, is just to be an impactful influencer on the world. And just for anybody that may need to hear what, or not to hear, but to see what I've gone through, and if they resonate and seeing where I'm going, just to help inspire them to do the same for themselves.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. I just feel like so many people will post online just like all the good stuff and they never post any of their like downfalls. They never post any of that.
I was
Like
guilty
how
of
to
that.
get through a slump, like none
Yeah.
of that.
Like how to work through your emotions, how to get to where you want to be. And I don't want to discredit anybody that is actually successful on social media, because a lot of people put in that work to get them to where they are. And you just have to be mindful of who you're following, who you're looking up to. Is
Yeah.
their successful credible? You know, did you watch their journey to see how far they've come to get to where they're at? You've seen their ups and downs. You know, that's how you know it's authentic. And I think that's the type of creators we should focus on more, you know, rather than
Mhm.
people praising like quick money, easy money, and what's really pushed out here.
Yeah, cuz that's honestly what it comes down to is like people don't want to like go through the journey. They just want the end result like right away. They want the highest quality content. They want the they want the followers right away.
That was
But
me.
literally like I had to like just realize I got to talk to no one for like 6 months. Like that's it. Like I'm talking to myself, I'm talking to the microphone. That's it. It's just me
Yeah.
and this camera and this microphone and that's it. And then after 6 months is typically when podcasts like take off.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's how I think about it is like I just gotta talk to myself. I just gotta be comfortable with doing it and just moving on and making the content because for me, like I always thought I needed like the highest quality microphone. I needed
Mm-hmm.
the best like vlogging camera. I needed all of this stuff. And in
Girl, you are
reality, I'm good.
preaching. You're
I
preaching.
just needed my iPhone. I just needed like a cheap microphone from Micro Center and just like record and get done with it. Because I don't know if you remember when I was actually like vlogging, but not really at the gym. Like I would do
Mm-hmm.
like a little bit of like my workouts and
Mm-hmm.
I would post them and then I stopped. Because then, like, I
Yeah,
was
I
like, I'm not like
remember.
all these other people because I don't
You let your
wear
thoughts
booty
get to
shorts. I
you.
don't wear crop tops. I don't dress like other people. I dress a little bit more modestly. And I didn't think anyone would like that. So then I just deleted it and I got rid of it because I didn't think people liked me. so then,
Oh, no, that is not
so
it
then
at all. And I'm glad, I just want to add on to what you just said. I'm glad that you kind of just continue to stay true to yourself, even though you kind of strayed away from what it is that you want to do, because you thought you wouldn't get that type of attention that those other girls or fitness influencers may get for their attire. And I'm gonna just be real. Half of that is how they get their views, is because
right.
it's eye
Dude,
catching. But
right. Like for
uh,
me, like,
mhm.
oh, sorry.
No, you're
Like I.
good.
I just wanted to like put out like good informative content by not
And that's what
dressing
we
that way either. But like,
need.
yeah,
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 be that person that makes a difference. You know, you may have the same ideas and share the same goals as these other influencers, but it's you have a unique addition to it. And with that,
mm-hmm,
your audience will come naturally. I'm sure there's a lot of girls that attend the gym who still dress modest just like you. And those girls will want to connect with you because it's okay. You're showing that it's okay, that you don't have to dress a certain way to, you know, get views, or if it's just not who you are.
right.
And I like that. I like that you still stay
Yeah.
authentic and you didn't try to, fit in there.
Right.
So that's good. But I did want to add on to when you said like feeling like you need the best quality. That's something that I struggled with starting my channel also is, thinking you need a $2,000 camera to start off and thinking you have to have all of these things before actually starting. And that's not the case. You just need to start and the rest will
Mm-hmm.
come. And I'm guilty because I used to never want to look at the journey. I was consumed into what I call today's world as far as instant gratification. Everybody wants things now, they don't want to work for it. They see what the next person has and, kind of just upset that they don't have it or trying to do what that person's doing in order to get those things. And that's something that
Mm-hmm.
I have done also. But now I see that there's so much beauty in the journey. And it's true with what they say that the journey is the best part because it's
Mm-hmm.
gotten you to where you want to be when you reach that time. And
All
it's
right.
your everyday decisions that, you know, pushed you to get you to that point.
Yeah, because it's like also like living in the moment too and being grateful for the journey instead of just like wishing on the future and not living in the present.
Yes, always be grateful, guys. Always.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like you never know. It's always good to be grateful. Count your
Mm-hmm.
blessings. Be grateful.
Absolutely. And just keep
Yeah,
going.
because the thing I read the most when I read these books is like the world loves a grateful heart and it'll
Mm-hmm.
give you more stuff to be grateful for.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
And you definitely have to focus on the journey. So, for those of you who are listening, and it's hard for you to focus on the journey, it's the journey that you have to focus on. That's what's
All
going to
right.
get you to where you want to be. It's a lot of inner work, it's a lot of things that you're going to have to change within yourself in order to get you to where you want to be because it's not overnight.
No. And I think it's also better when like the growth is organic and like you see that person like go through the flows like we were just talking
Mm-hmm.
about because it's like helpful for other people to see it too that like anyone can do anything as long as you
Mm-hmm.
like work towards it
Yep.
because just because you might think that you're different that doesn't mean like you can't get to where you want to go.
Yep.
Yep.
Everybody, all you have to do is literally put your mind to it. I know everybody has heard that. Just put your mind to it, focus on it, and you will get there. But
Mm-hmm.
it's
I
not
agree.
overnight. It's not going to be overnight. At
No.
least anything that you want to last, it's not going to happen overnight. But that's okay.
No. It's fine. Like being grateful for the journey. That's all that matters.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah. And I think since you were talking on the mental health, did you want to go more into like your journey with it and what really got you into like focusing in on it?
Yes. So it really started when I moved out here and I was hit with everything at once. Like I said, I was living with my dad. So I'm across country now in my own apartment and paying bills. Like I did not have to pay all of these bills back home.
Right.
And so it took not a while, but I had to get accustomed to putting money aside to pay for bills and then also having to buy groceries or making sure you have money to put gas in the car. And on top of this, the world is not paying what it needs to be paying. So
Mm-mm.
everything is it was a lot just dumped on me when I first came out here. And I just had to get really, really good with my money because I don't want to struggle. I didn't want to let myself down. And I had to make sure that these are just basic skills that I had to learn. So I started reading Rich Dad Poor Dad just to kind of get
Ooh.
more. That's a very good book. If
Mm-hmm.
you have not read Rich Dad Poor Dad and you struggle with money and how it works, then I would highly recommend reading that book. But that book has helped me get control over my finances, so to where I'm not struggling. I can still go and do things. So when I first came out here, all of that was on me, and it kind of caused me to hit rock bottom mentally, and I lost it. I was crying, I was depressed, and I just didn't want to feel. I almost wanted to give up, but I know I'd be disappointed in myself if I didn't even
Mhm.
at least try and just tell myself that this is new. You will adjust, you will get accustomed to it, and it's going to be okay. And it's just really giving yourself that reassurance and talking to yourself kindly. Before I would talk to myself awful, like I would just say the meanest things to myself. I'm not going to say exactly what I said, but I would say the
Right.
mean things to myself, and that doesn't help anything. So if you feel like you're struggling with speaking positively to yourself, try to make that a priority in correcting. Um, Anytime you have a negative thought about yourself, try to switch it and say one thing that you're grateful about yourself. Like you have two legs that you can walk with. Some people don't even have that. So it's really just as simple as that. Um, and just building myself up. So when I hit rock bottom, I was at the bottom. And they say once you're there, the only way is up. So I was just
Mhm.
focusing on building myself up and getting me to where I want to be, because I always known that I want a very successful life. There's a lot that I want to do. There's a lot that I just genuinely want for myself. And my old mindset was not going to get me there. So I really had to focus on my mind, what I was
Mhm.
consuming, what I was saying to myself, what are the skills that I don't have that is preventing me from getting me to the next level or continuing on to where I want to go. So I think when you struggle with discomfort, you have to do something very uncomfortable to help you work yourself through that. And before I moved, I knew that's what I needed to do to give myself that push that I needed in order to continue to pursue the person that I'm trying to become. Is getting out of my comfort zone intentionally. And um that's really what helped spark my mental health journey, was when I hit rock bottom. And I hope it doesn't take everybody to get to that moment, because it was an awful point to get there. And before hitting rock bottom, you kind of just try to work on it. So yeah, that's kind of just what helped spark my mental health journey. And like I said, I've gone through a lot, and I'm still growing to this day, and I'm going to keep growing until, my life is over. That's what we're here for, is to keep growing, keep evolving, and working through all these boundaries that we call life, that just happens
Mhm.
in everyday life. And again,
Yeah.
that's what kind of just sparked my content, and helping those who may need it, who were struggling like I was, to get them to where they're trying to go.
Yeah, and before we started recording, we were also talking about once we turned 25, like all the spatial awareness we gained.
Right.
And it's really interesting when you think about it because like you were talking about like the frontal lobe and stuff. Like I didn't even know about that, but yeah, it's like really crazy. So we're both 25 by the way. So
Yes.
we're the same
Right.
age for anyone that doesn't know us. And so we both like gain so much spatial awareness, and it's super crazy because it's like you get the ick from yourself just like
No,
being
for real.
aware.
It has you questioning and thinking 10 times harder about everything you do.
Right. Like you can't even be comfortable anymore. Like we used to live life just doing things, not even second guessing. And
And
now it's like, oh
delusion.
no. We used to be Delulu.
I still am a little bit. I still am, but man, reality has hit hard like this past year.
Hmm. I know.
I need
It's
to
so
save my little
sad.
space of delusion that I have left to escape to, because this is too real.
Right, life be hitting a little too hard.
Yeah, for real. But where I'm at, I love life. I used to not like life, but now that I have a more understanding and a more grateful attitude about it, it really just allows you to be thankful for everything that happens on a day-to-day basis. Like being thankful that God woke you up, or whoever you believe
Mhm.
in, that you woke up in the morning, you got home in the evening safely, you have a car to get you to X, Y, and Z, you have a roof over your head, you have a job to pay your bills. Once you start looking at life like that and not so much like, "Ugh, I have to go to work today," or just a very negative um, mind, even if it's something you may not want to do, it's just about your attitude throughout your everyday life that is really going
Mhm.
to dictate your future. Are things going to change for you if you change your mindset? But if you are stuck in a negative one, in a negative headspace, and kind of just talk negatively about yourself or just anything, you're not going to lead a happy life. You have to
Mhm.
create that happiness. You have to find the happiness within it. And it's really as simple as being grateful for the little things
Right.
that we often overlook.
Right. And that's where like this question of like meditation I had for you
Hmm.
comes in, but also reading as well. Like I've read a lot of books recently,
Hmm.
and there's like a lot of things he says that are just like too full circle, or I'm
What
just
book
like,
are you
"Oh my
reading?
uh good life, good vibes."
Okay,
Like
I'll have to
I
check that one out.
1000% recommend this book. It is so full
100%.
circle. 10,000%. Like
I'm
it
gonna
is
check
so
that out.
full circle to like everything that we're talking about, and like
Hmm.
anything like I speak on my podcast, he somehow like mentioned it in the book. I'm like, oh my god.
Isn't it crazy? So you have those
Yeah.
like, isn't it epiphany? Do they call those epiphanies? It's like when
Yeah,
you
I would
read
say so.
something. So for me, it's the opposite. Whenever I finish a book and I want to buy a new book, I just kind of do my research and I end up picking the book. And when I'm reading it, it's exactly what I'm going through. And so it's like I'm
Yeah.
really good at picking books for the current blockages that I'm facing.
Yeah. And
So
what was super
it's
crazy is I was in Target and I just picked the book because I liked the name of it. I was like, I want to start reading more. Oh, good
yeah,
vibes, good life. Sounds
that's a
good
good
with
place to
me.
start.
And it's the Target book section.
Nice. I have to check
Yeah.
out Target. I mean, usually do Amazon.
Yeah. They like got rid of all the Barnes and Nobles. Like they don't want you getting books
Really?
anymore.
Oh, they
Yeah.
don't want you to be educated. There's a lot of power in reading, you
Mm-hmm.
guys. A lot of
There really
power.
is. Like it coming
So
full
I'm not
circle, it's
surprised.
so weird. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, he's like, if you surround yourself with negative people, it lowers your vibration. So we all have vibrations, and he calls them vibrations, but he says like vibes, because like when
Mm-hmm.
people like use the term, they use the term, your vibes are off, or
Mm-hmm.
like whatever. It comes from that. Like your vibration is low when your vibration should
Mm-hmm.
be high. So the more people that are down here and low, you go low with them. And he goes on to say a lot of things will ruin your vibration, from like the foods that you eat to like the people you surround yourself with,
Mm-hmm.
and like all those things. And when you come to think about it, it's true. Like if you only surround yourself with negative people, you drag yourself down with them. You talk drama with them, you talk all
Mm-hmm.
these bad
Yeah.
things, and you get to their like same level, and it's just like super depressing.
Yeah.
So like for me, when I learned that, I was like, okay, I gotta push these people away a little.
Yup. Yup. Yeah.
Right.
And it could be friends, it could be family members, um, a job, your like coworkers. And this is like the self-awareness that people need to have. Who am I keeping around?
Mm-hmm.
Are these people adding to my life or are they causing more of a distraction? And there's also another, I want to say it was like some inspirational speech. I'm sure you may have heard it. It's like show me who your friends are and I'll show you what your future looks like. Have you heard that?
I feel like I've seen this.
So it's some guy talking, and I wish I knew to give him his credit, but it's like a clip, and I've seen it in like TikToks and just social media content, and he's just like, "Show me who your friends are, and I'll show you who your future is, or I'll show you what your future is." And it's true. Are you hanging around people that are going to inspire you, that are going to motivate you and push you into becoming the person that you want to become? Or are they going to keep you distracted and unfocused and in the same place the next few years? And it's
Mhm.
just very important to be mindful of your environments. Who, like, are your environments healthy for you to grow?
Mhm.
And I always like to relate it to plants because, if a plant is in a dysfunctional environment, it's not going to do well. And so I think we just should all think of ourselves as plants as far as watering ourselves, nurturing ourselves, and making sure that everything around us is comfortable enough for us to continue to grow and giving us that support.
Yeah. Like it's totally true though. Like even with sunlight, like plants need sunlight. We as humans definitely need sunlight. Super good for the
Yeah.
circadian rhythm, by the way.
Yes, I wanted to
Mhm.
add that in here too because I noticed it wasn't one of the questions, but it kind of goes into like my meditation, yoga, just that zen. Get out
Mhm.
into nature more. If you can,
Mhm.
get into nature more because that for me is my reset. When I'm feeling down because I'm still human, I go through so many emotions even though I've been working on a stronger mindset. So like lately I want to say the content has kind of been slowing down because I don't know if it's just that time of the month for me and it's just natural to where my energy levels are just
Same.
low. Like I just haven't been feeling very inspired or very motivated. I've actually been like really tired and just wanting to sleep instead of doing things that I need to do. But just know that this is natural. You're still human at the end of the day, and it doesn't take away from your progress or your journey if you take time to rest and reset. So, yesterday, I went paddleboarding with one of my friends out here, and I love paddleboarding. I thank her so much for showing me because it is so peaceful, it's so beautiful, and just exploring is so fun. Like it brings out your inner child. Like we were at the
Mhm.
shoreline searching for seashells. Like I
Oh,
just
that's
felt
so
like a
fun.
kid, like no responsibilities. We're like an hour outside of Vegas. So just getting away from the hustle and bustle, the city, civilization, and just being in the
Yeah.
quiet spaces of nature, listening to, the waves crash on the shore or watching the fish or just playing in the water, playing in the sand, it does
Mhm.
so much for your mental more than you will ever, whatever you think you may know. So I
Yeah.
highly suggest hiking, paddleboarding, snowboarding, whatever it is, just get into nature more.
Mhm. Because
Have you
I
been?
stress this a lot. Oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna ask because I know you like to hike too. So I was gonna say, have you been in hiking lately?
No, because like I was gonna say, I girl bossed a little too hard, have too many responsibilities. And say like that's the thing I think with this area, like the DMV specifically, is like you get so stuck in the like hustle and bustle, like having to work and then you got to pay these bills because then you take on all these responsibilities. And then like for me, like I honestly I hate to say this, but like the girl boss mentality, like that, like I know like I grew up on it. I don't know if you also did, but like
Yeah,
you have to like slave yourself. You gotta work the corporate ladder. You gotta be like
we could
above
talk about this
everyone.
too. This ain't one of our questions, but we could talk about this.
Like I played myself so hard and now here I am. Like I became so unhappy. This was like a year ago when I finally like this was like I was 24 and then like it clicked with me. I was like, I'm not even happy. Like I have all these things, but I'm not truly happy. And it's because I felt like I was stuck even though like I was working my way up. I didn't think I was because I just wasn't happy and I wasn't taking any time for myself. I wasn't focusing on myself. And then also I learned a lot of things in the past year. Like to go off of what you were saying about like that time of the month and you're not being creative, it's actually true. Like in certain phases of your cycle, you're actually more creative. So like I
Mm.
learned all these things and like eating around your cycle will help you like through your cycle better. Tracking
Oh,
your
you might
cycle
have
is
to
super.
tell me some things.
Yeah, so I did a lot of like research on it and then I came to realize I was like eating not like the best foods. Like I wasn't eating like super processed
So
foods, but I was still
hard though.
mhm.
Like especially
And then
with
like yeah.
sorry, I didn't
Yeah,
cut you.
it's no,
It's
no,
just
no, you're
really
fine.
hard
You
to
can go.
find some good food out here that's good for you.
Yeah, because like I learned a lot about like certain types of oils are bad for you. Like preservatives and stuff aren't good for you, pesticides, like all this different stuff. And then I kind of like spiraled a little bit after that.
Is
I
that your rock
realized I was
bottom
like,
like mine?
yeah, I'm over here like, okay. And then like this like new person came into work and then I literally hit the bottom. I literally
Oh
hit the bottom.
no,
I was
yeah.
like, you know what? I was like, I
Can I
was
ask
done.
when you went through it? Because I'm wondering if we went through it around the same time.
This would have been super funny. It was like December of last year. Like,
Okay, mine was like July of last year, July, August, when I had just came out here.
yeah, I don't blame you though. But then I just started to realize I gotta focus on myself. I don't need to keep girl bossing this hard. I'm gonna not like work my wage, but I kept seeing that in my feed. It was like work your wage, work your wage, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should. Maybe I
Going
should.
above and
I need to chill.
beyond.
Exactly. Like you've also seen my second rock bottom before where I like had a mental breakdown.
I swear, I go through like, you know how they have like the quarter life crisis, midlife crisis. I have a
Hmm.
yearly crisis. Sometimes it's every 3 months.
Yeah, but that's
It's so
okay. It's
bad.
just part of life. It's just part of
Absolutely.
life. And then I was just like, oh no, like I'm just like I need to like focus on myself. And then I started learning about eating around your cycle, focusing like on the phases of your cycle, tracking it and making sure you know where you are in your cycle, just so you have like more awareness of why you feel the way that you
Mm.
do
Mhm.
because your emotions will go up and down. And then also eating around it will definitely help you out with like working out, but also feeling like replenished from nutrients as well.
Yeah.
So when you're on your period, I know this is very TMI for anyone listening. For
No
anyone
worries.
listening, I
They
don't
might
even
learn
care.
something.
I don't even care. You're supposed to actually eat red meat because it like replenishes like anything, and you actually crave it too. So if you ever notice when you're on your period you crave it, it's because like you're losing so much blood and you need the nutrients from the meat and the iron and like all of that.
See, something off of me because I normally crave ice cream, hot Funyuns, all this stuff that's bad. And I have not
Yeah.
had red meat in a long time. In a long time. Because I've just been very flaky with meat. Sometimes I can do it,
Hmm.
sometimes I absolutely can't. But it's been a long time since I've had like a steak. So I'll have to try it. I'll have to try it and see if it makes
Yeah.
a difference because I do feel really tired. So I'm guessing that helps
Hmm.
replenish
It
your
does.
sleepiness and drowsiness.
It really does. And then also like not eating the same things like all the time. It's good to like have a variety in your diet too because
Mm,
a
mhm,
lot of diet culture stems from men and not really women at all. So women
mhm.
need different things during the different like phases of their cycle.
Yeah.
They can't eat the same thing because men are on a 24-hour like clock.
Hmm.
Like Right. But we're on a monthly like clock, so each week is different.
Yeah. Oh
And
my
like we got
gosh,
our
we
ups, we
go
got
through
our
so
downs.
much. Yeah. I'm gonna have to
Right.
do more research on this because I think that will definitely help in the future when stuff like this happens to where I know I need to be getting things done, like making my own content. And rest is super important too. I always try to
Mm-hmm.
push rest when you need it. Of course, take that break, don't quit, and just kind of balancing it because, like, right now, where I'm at after the podcast, I know I need to record a YouTube video, but honestly, I want to go back to sleep. But I have to try not to be hard on myself and be mindful of the thoughts because I
Right.
can easily be like, oh, you're failing, you're giving up, you're not doing, but that's, I just want to break, and just
Yeah,
reminding
and it's
myself to
okay to
give
take
myself
those breaks.
that grace. So we'll see how I'm feeling. There might be a new video out, there may not, but you'll know why.
It's okay, it's fine. Like I literally went to the gym today. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have a good leg workout." I literally put a 45 on the hack squat, and I'm like, "Why is it so heavy?" And like
Doing
I
this
had to, I
today.
was like, I was so glad I wasn't recording because I was low-key kind of like embarrassed. I was like, "Oh man," I really was going in there like I was about to do my thing,
You were
and
pumped,
I only
ready
got
to
two.
go.
I got 2 reps out, and I was like, "Ah, I'm just gonna put a 25."
That's funny. She said, we're still here, but we're going to tone it down just a
And tone it
little.
down. I'm still gonna get my workout. I'm just gonna tone it down a little bit.
And that's what I was thinking because YouTube has shorts, right? So I was like,
Hmm.
maybe I can just create shorts. Like, if I don't feel like doing a YouTube video today, I want to start implementing more shorts to help. Since I don't have my Instagram, TikTok right now, I
Hmm.
just deactivated those to focus solely on my channel and just step away from social media in general. But I was thinking about incorporating shorts into my YouTube channel to help attract that audience because I don't have
Hmm.
other platforms to promote my channel on. But I
Hmm.
know if I start pushing out shorts, then it may come across somebody's, you know, um,
Yeah.
may across come across someone and they check out my channel, and then that then draws traffic. So I was thinking
Okay.
about doing that, just trying to keep the shorts within what my channel is about, though. So probably more wellness, like practices like yoga, meditation, daily routines that help, keep yourself structured and busy if you
Hmm.
feel like your life is just not very structured. Because I know mine wasn't. It took me to finally buy a calendar and be serious with it to finally feel like I have
Yeah.
some structure to it, and just having a routine from, morning to evening so that I stay focused. I feel like I have a purpose and not just laying in bed all day because
Hmm.
that's when thoughts will start to eat you up.
I wanted to ask you a question,
Mhm.
and this is super random. This wasn't even a question I had planned. Do you
Yeah.
journal?
Yes. And I wanted to add that in with the
Okay.
meditation and yoga. So do you want to talk about it or is just a
Yeah. Yeah.
question?
Oh no, we
So,
can add that into like what got you into meditation slash yoga slash journaling.
okay,
We can do that. Yeah.
sounds good. Um, and we're still just on, are we in just mental health right now? I think we're still in mental health as far as our
Yeah, I guess that
topic.
was kind of like the wrap up of the mental health. But yeah, I think we can do advice on getting into meditation, yoga, and journaling.
Okay. So what got me into meditation, journal, and yoga? I think journaling was the first that I started, and I started that around the time I had my mental break. I think that's actually when I started journaling. It was
Oh.
like a week after that happened. So it's been just over a year. Not, I don't journal every single day. I try to do it maybe a few times throughout the week, even if there's days where nothing really happened. Um, but when I first started journaling, it was just me trying to keep this positive mindset and still being hopeful that even though where I'm at right now isn't the best, I know that it's not going to last. So that's how I
Mhm.
started journaling, was just being grateful for everything that I have, even though I'm not where I want to be. So that's kind of where the consistency with gratitude came in, and me just being happy and thankful every day that I wake up, and not really stressing over what I don't have, what I can't control, um, and just like all the materialistic things that I used to obsess over. Um, and just as it goes on, it turned into me expressing my feelings in my journal. I started talking about what I was looking forward to, what I was thankful for, what are my goals, um, and just kind of sort of in that realm. You can, of course, journal about anything that you want. Mine was just more so on my goals, where I'm trying to be, being thankful, and you look back on it and you see how far you've come. And this is why I recommend journaling, because on the days you feel like it's never going to get better, you look back and you reflect that this day you were at a low, but then you read and this day you were at a high. And your growth is not going to be linear. You're going to still have those ups and downs, but you have more control of your thoughts about it, how to control the situations, how to diffuse situations that, like anxiety, because anxiety was something I struggled with for a long time, and worrying, and that was just me not having control over my mind or my thoughts.
Mhm.
So journaling has just really helped me know that it gets better, and it's literal proof when you go back and read that yes, it's all over the place, but that's the beauty of it. When you think it doesn't get better, it does get better. And when you're up here on your high, it does get low, but you're not consistent there. That's not the end
Right.
for you. You go back up. With meditation helped a lot for affirmations. I would normally meditate before bed. Now I'm trying to do real meditation, and that's getting lost and just focusing for 20 minutes. So before bed, I would just listen to affirmations, like a guided meditation. And this would just help alleviate my thoughts before bed, because a lot of the times that's when negative thoughts would hit me. So it would just give me that reassurance that everything's going to be okay. I'm fine. I'm good. So that I can get a better night's sleep and feeling more confident within myself.
Mhm.
Yoga, I like yoga, and I want to add stretching to this as well, because my job, I sit all day, and I have two jobs. So I have a full-time job where I'm an accounting clerk for a dealership, and then a nighttime receptionist. And both of those jobs require me to sit all day long. And I'm not very active, and I don't want to lose my mobility or flexibility. So I try to um, stretch before bed, because that's mostly when I have time to do it. And I think stretching and just yoga is very important to keep your body and your flexibility up. So that way, as you get older and you age, you're still mobile. You're still able to hike.
Mhm.
You're still able to do the things that you enjoy when you're younger, because you're keeping up with your body. And it's important to keep up with your body and being mindful of what you feed your body, how you're taking care of it, the thoughts, like how you're treating yourself. And it really just starts from inside out. You have to start from within. That's the only way it's
Right.
going to work.
Right.
So I would just highly recommend journaling, meditation, and yoga for your mental health. Yoga is more for your body, but still, your body is just as important. It's your vessel, and it's going to be with you for the remainder of your life. And you only get one body, so it's very important to take care of it, because when you're
Mhm.
50s, 60s, and you want to go out and do something, but you can't because you didn't stay active, and you can't stretch, and you're limited. But if you keep up with it and being consistent with it, then it's going to last you a very long time.
That is very true. I agree.
And then for you with fitness, um, what's your advice? Because with me, I do want to get into the gym. I don't know why. I am not consistent with the gym at all. I will hike,
It's
I will do
okay.
paddle boarding, but lifting weights and doing some squats is not for me, no matter how hard I try. So what has helped you stay consistent with a nice, like, being in the gym?
So for me, I think it's just working out before going to work because it definitely helps take away like extra stress throughout the workday. Because I feel like if I don't go to the gym, I am a little bit moody
It's like
at
I
work
need
because people
it.
irritate me. I swear,
I
this
know
has to be what
working
turning
with
25.
you. I don't know, Ams. I don't know. I've worked with you for a
Oh,
while,
I know.
and I've seen you irritated before 25.
I know. Well, I'm just aware of it now.
It happens though, man. People will do that
Yeah,
to you.
I know. And like I notice I side eye everyone. I give everyone attitude. And they make fun of me too, and at this point I don't even care. It's just me, it's my personality.
Yeah.
But it just helps like throughout the day too. And I also feel good too. Like all the endorphins and stuff. It's true. Like you do really feel good after a workout. Even if you have like a pretty bad workout. I'm sorry for the background.
Oh, no, you're
She's over
good.
here throwing her toys.
You about to say throwing up. I was like, oh, is she okay?
No, she's good. She's just
Aw.
throwing her toys.
Hi, Zena.
She's over here jumping.
Oh, I see her. Oh, she's so
Yeah,
cute.
yeah, you can see her.
Oh,
She's over here trying to eat
getting
my
so
sweater.
big too. Just like, Mom, I want to play. What are you doing? I
All
want to
right.
play.
She's over here throwing her toys. Okay, so back to what I was saying. And so it's super important because like you feel good after, even if you have a bad workout, you still feel good even though like you just worked out. And then I started implementing running because like I was like, how do people run? I want to be a runner. Like I've never challenged myself to run, so I just started doing it. And then last month I ran 11 miles and I was so proud of myself.
Oh,
I was like,
nice.
yeah, I know it's like the bare minimum, but I
That's
tried.
good. That's
Like I'm over here
good.
like because I started following people that ran and I was
Hmm.
like I want to be like them. And so this girl, she runs like 20, 30 miles. Full circle. Look at your cat.
I know, man. These animals.
I know. Right,
Only
but it's
him
like
too.
it helps so much with like your mental health because like you release so much stress when you run because you're just like focusing on just doing that, but you're
Hmm.
just letting go of everything. So
Mm.
for me, I was able just to like let things go, like whatever was like making me upset. Because I used to like work out to like make myself feel better from
Hmm.
like the stress. But then when I like let it all go, I just realized I just gotta let things go. I can't like keep
Hold
focusing
on to it.
on the
Yeah.
like, yeah, onto the like negativity. I try to like extract myself from situations now. I try
Hmm.
not to let it affect me. And it definitely helped with me working out too. Like I've had better workouts now that like I don't use it as like a coping mechanism. I just
Yeah.
use it to benefit me.
Hmm.
Because I know people will go like, "Oh yeah, I go to the gym to make myself feel better, like so I don't have to stress about things." But when you take that like context away from it and you're just like, "I'm doing it for myself." So like
Hmm.
I have a good life. Like I'm able to
Yeah.
like you said like to
Switching
move.
your mindset. Yep.
Right, because everything is about mindset,
Or
and
your perspective too.
I had such a negative mindset back then, and like now I'm just like I'm grateful that I'm able to get
Hmm.
up. I'm grateful I'm able to move. I can go to
Yep.
the gym. I can lift these heavy weights, even though
Yep.
I don't want to sometimes. It's a little too heavy sometimes, but it's okay. It's fun. It's fine.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
yeah.
Practicing that gratitude really makes a difference.
Hmm. Yeah, and like just learning to be grateful for the things that you have. And I think like I would start journaling too, just to like write it all down because like for me like I just keep everything in my head.
That's
I just
another
keep everything
thing.
in my
Now
head.
that you said that, I just want to add, when we have a lot on our minds and we journal to like kind of extract it, once you're finished the page and you're ready to close that journal, that's it. Don't allow yourself to think about it anymore. And especially if it's
Mhm.
not something important and that's going to serve you. If it's just unnecessary noise in your head that you've just been entertaining, that's fine. Write it down in your journal, close the book, and let it go. Like you said,
Yeah,
letting go.
I hear a lot of people say the same thing, so like I had to ask you.
Hmm.
Like that's why cuz a
I'm
lot of
glad you
these
made
girls I
that
listen
point.
to like they say that like journaling is like just like you're saying. So I'm thinking of like starting to do that too. And like I'm always like, "Oh, I don't have time to do it." And then like it was like with reading too. I was like, "Oh, I don't have time to read." But like if as long as you get like 20 minutes of reading a day, I think it's like super beneficial. Because like you were saying earlier, like it's about like expanding your knowledge and being able to really just like hone in
Yep.
on something that isn't like your life. It's just someone
Mhm.
else's perspective of life. And
Yep.
I think it's so good to learn different points of views in life and like other
Hmm.
people's like lessons they have to say, even if it's just for 10, 20 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Because I feel like people that don't read, they don't realize just like how
What
like
you
in a
can,
small bubble they are
I
and like so
swear,
much you can do.
I push it on everybody. So, like, been a few people that are like my close friends that struggle with the same thing that I was struggling with. And I'm like, look, like, I've got it, I'm figured it out. They see how happy I am and how much that, I've changed within those little bit of things. And I'm just like, all
Mhm.
you have to do is read. And then they don't want to read, but they want to feel the way that I'm feeling. And I
Yeah.
tell them, I give them the recipe on how to do so. And then that's when I just realized that they're not there yet. And sometimes if somebody's not there, then you just kind of have to let it go and just hope that they get there someday to where they actually want to change and not keep just
Mhm.
talking about it. And I always tell people, read this one book. And we'll talk about it because I know one of the questions were books that you would recommend. So we'll talk about it later. So
Mhm.
there's this one book that I recommend everybody. And I said, I promise you, you are not going to be the same person after you read it. I promise you. But can you do yourself the favor and have the discipline to read this book? You want to
Right.
feel better. You want to feel better. Are you going to read this book? And most of the time, they say the same thing. They don't have time, or,
Mhm.
they just don't, they can't do it. And I love when they say that they don't have time, because you know what I do? I was like, I bet you had time to scroll on your phone on them TikToks.
See, oh my God, let me tell you. Okay, so I had to take Instagram off of my main page because I kept opening it nonstop and like I would just like doomlessly scroll. And then so now I'm gonna show you. Now it's not even here. Look, it's not even here.
There you
So
go.
what am I gonna open? My mail app? I'm gonna stare at my mail. I'm gonna stare at my mail. Why am I staring at my mail? Oh, I meant to open up Instagram. And I catch myself and I put my phone down. I'm like, okay.
See, that's what you have to do for yourself in order. See, me, I knew TikTok and Instagram was consuming too much of my time. And so I had to delete it. I was like, I'm sitting here scrolling when I could be editing a video. I could be making a video.
Mhm.
I could be doing something productive. And I want to say in this book that I'm currently reading, it's a really good book. I'm not finished with it yet, so it's not going to be on one of my recommendations, but it's called Finding Flow. Um, they say like it's about energy and our flow, right? So we spend all day working for somebody else or just doing our obligations, which is our job. Then we have to come
Mhm.
home and we have to take care of our housely duties. And we only get a small percentage of time to truly focus on ourselves. And a lot of us use that time to scroll on social media, watch
Mhm.
TV, watch Netflix, and just things that aren't really serving us or helping us. And so that once I read that line in the book, it clicked and I was like, you're right. Like I only have a little bit of time to truly grow my channel into something that I want it to become. If I'm not giving that little bit of time and energy that I have, I'm not going to get anywhere. If I'm just scrolling on social media, if I'm just
Right.
putting my attention to things that are not serving me, that are not helping me grow within a person, or just genuinely good for me. And that's why I deleted both the apps. And since then, I have been just walking around my apartment. I've been cleaning. I will do a whole skincare routine. I'll do yoga. I'll watch. I like. I think watching YouTube is different because a lot of YouTube has like a lot of inspiring content, and I think it's just a healthier platform than especially Instagram. TikTok, I don't really have an issue with. It's just so addicting that I just scroll. So that's why I had to delete TikTok. I think there's a good community on TikTok. I find there to be a lot of support. But Instagram, it's dying. And I don't think I want to get back on it.
I
Um,
don't blame you honestly because like I was making like little content here and there on Instagram. It was okay like the first like 2 weeks and then after that like I just felt so discouraged. Like it really like bounces off of your video. You can see the views and then no one likes it. And
yeah.
like it's really discouraging because it's like you put your time and effort into like recording, posting it, editing it, whatever, like picking a good song to put on it.
Hmm.
And I joke around like, "Oh yeah, like I
And
put these
it's
little
not
things
easy
together and
to
just
edit them reels and stuff. Oh my
no."
God. I be getting so frustrated with the reels and the TikTok
I
videos.
know. It's not even easy at all. And then like you see all these people viewed it and then no one really likes it. And then the same thing goes for like your like actual post too. You can see how many people like your like actually see it and then
Like
like how much
interactive
like
with
they
it.
like it.
Yeah.
And then I hate that you can see that for the stories too. You can see
Eh,
how many people swiped. Like, why should we see this?
yeah.
Why should we
Like
see this?
that's what I'm honestly,
Why do they
it's
want us to know?
way too, and that's what I'm saying. Like it can be damaging, and I think Instagram was like the most damaging app for me. Um, I would compare myself to a lot of like the Instagram models because a lot of people, that's where a lot of people will post like on their stories, like, oh my God, they're on another vacation, they bought another bag, they're doing this, they're doing that, you know. But it it is fake to a sense because people are only posting the absolute best.
Right.
And I'm not saying that that isn't their life, but there's everybody goes through things. Um, and for us to see so much perfection, we think that that person's perfect, nothing happens to them, X, Y, and Z. But we have to remember that we're all human. We're all experiencing this life on earth, and everybody has their own obstacles. Everybody goes through things, whether they show it or not. So Instagram is not a picture perfect place, even though it is made out to be, because nobody is sharing. Some people do share their their downfalls or just tough times. And
Mhm.
it's mad respect to those people because they're showing that they're not always good. They're not always happy. They go through things um themselves. But just the era of the Instagram models and the lavish lifestyles and wanting that and just kind of losing your authenticity to try to obtain what they have, however they may have got it, or whatever
Right.
the instant gratification is out here that's kind of that's going to take away your dignity in order to obtain what these people are obtaining, and
Yeah.
you just lose sight of authenticity. And that's why I said Instagram was probably the worst social media app for me, for that very reason. And ever since I started to like not pay as much attention to it, or just being off it, and as well as in this self-growth journey, just rediscovering my own authenticity and what it is that I love. And when I was aware of this, I would start sharing like what I wanted to share, not what I thought people wanted to see, and just kind
Right.
of expressing myself more. But it's still just an app that just does not support authenticity like TikTok does or
Mm-mm.
YouTube does. And that's why I say I don't have an issue with TikTok. It's just so damn addicting. So I would spend way
Apparently, their
too.
algorithm is way better than like Instagram's
It
algorithm.
is. I
Because
have so
Instagram's
much
algorithm
support.
sucks.
It really does. Like I'm seeing people I don't even follow. I'm seeing all of these ads. Um, and just and I don't want people to be hurt by this, what I'm about to say, but on Instagram, mostly what we do is like watch stories, right? People are barely liking posts anymore. It's all stories. You get
Mm-hmm.
way more
Mm-hmm.
story views than you do Instagram posts. So it's like all these people are watching you, and then you find yourself watching all these people, and it's like, no, like I have a whole life to live. I have a whole destination of where I'm trying to be. I can't be focusing on watching other people's lives. Spending the little bit of
Right.
time that I have watching what other people are doing with their lives. And that's another
Yeah.
reason why I deleted it. And when I say like I don't want anybody to feel some type of way because we are making content. This is essentially people watching our lives. But it's different when you're adding value and
Right.
adding knowledge and purposeness. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just meaningless content or just watching stuff that just genuinely doesn't matter or is not doing anything for us.
I would totally agree with that because when I was watching your video, what really stuck out to me is when you said that. Like, people are on there just to look at stuff, they're not there to like anything. And it's
Mhm.
true because, like, oh, I'll look at this person do this and I won't even like it. I caught myself for like the longest time, I was never liking anything on Instagram,
Yeah.
right? But now I do because, like, I understand. Sorry.
Mhm. You're
I
good.
understand. I understand.
He's so cute. Oh my God. Look at
Thank you.
her. She's so pale.
Yeah, she's so
So
white.
cute. She's so cute though. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but I would catch myself not even liking other people's stuff. I was just watching stories and then I would scroll and then I would exit the app. But then I realized like you have to do like some stuff, obviously.
To kind of like
But then
encourage them, right?
right, because then like now like if I'm on there, like I'll like other people's stuff. I'll comment like, "Oh my God, like your outfit's really cute," or like
Yeah.
whatever. Like because I understand like that point of view of like
Hmm.
you're not getting any type of like feedback from other people. So for me, like I'll just do it for other people.
Hmm.
Like I know they need it because obviously like I was at that point where like I felt like I just had to
Just
scrub my
kind of
Instagram. So
questioning. Yeah.
I scrubbed my Instagram because no one was giving me any of that like gratification.
Yeah.
Because Instagram is just so toxic and the algorithm obviously sucks too. Because like you'll
Yeah.
just scroll, scroll, scroll. You won't like do anything with it. Because it's true, like you can like endlessly scroll on people's posts too. Like you'll swipe, you'll look at it, okay, on to the next one. Like I'll look at this
Hmm.
post, I'll look at this post. You're looking at it, but you're not liking it. I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe it's like a mental thing. People would rather just not like it. They'll just look.
Because I
I don't know.
think like people would feel like, I don't know, because it's kind of like, well, they don't like my stuff, so I'm not liking theirs. I feel like that's
Maybe.
maybe what's going around. And I don't know like what happened because that's literally what, it's for is liking pictures. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. I think it's just it eventually came around to just competition. Like the whole I don't even know like the correct term to say, but it's kind of like maybe made for competition. And that's why people are starting to see it as that way, where they
Yeah,
don't want to engage anymore. And I don't know. Instagram just
I
fell
could see
apart. It
that.
used to be really good. I think like back when we were in high school, but ever
Mm-hmm.
since like being out of high school, I just don't feel like Instagram has been the same. I know like when I would
No.
post on TikTok and stuff, I'd get just strangers just commenting, supporting me. They're like just giving me all of this love, and it was never from people that I knew, went to school with, um, no
Right.
mutuals,
It's
just
like
complete
so
strangers.
weird.
Yeah, and
Right.
they were
It's like
giving
a
me
complete
so much
stranger
support.
will like praise you, and then like the people that you're close with won't even like your post.
Yeah,
But
it's
then that's
insane.
also like I think because like when you go on your homepage, like only certain people pop up because they're higher up in the algorithm or whatever the case is. I
Really?
feel like I honestly feel like whatever they
Hmm.
did, whatever update they did to where like you can't see things in chronological order, like that's what really messed up the app because I
Yeah,
have to search for people because I don't see their posts anymore.
yeah.
Like I got concerned for you because I was like, why are you never in my feed anymore? And then I
Well,
saw you
shoot,
deactivate.
knowing me, it's probably like I will just go ghost. I will not
Right.
announce it. I'm
I can't hear you. Did you mute yourself? Mm-mm. No, I can't. Am I on a phone call? Oh yeah. Yeah, I can hear you.
okay, sorry, because my sister was calling me on FaceTime and I couldn't like
Oh.
end it. Um, I was so
It's okay.
confused. Um, where were we just off at?
The algorithm of like chronological
Oh,
order.
oh yeah, because you said that you couldn't find me. I no, I deactivated it, and that's when I reached out to you because I remember we before I deleted it, we talked about doing podcasts and you getting into content creating, and so I would just wanted to let you know because you're one of the people I want to keep around because we're both
Right.
like-minded. We both can encourage each other, and like I said, just being more mindful of who I keep in my circle, who I keep around. So I just wanted to let you know that. But as far as I just
Mm-hmm.
disappear, I don't put it on my story that I'm gone for 6 months. I just go.
You just
Um,
get up and go.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't blame you, honestly.
And
Like,
so I wanted to say before I deleted it, I was gonna give myself 6 months to solely focus on my YouTube channel. And though I'm still giving myself that time, after those 6 months was up is when I had planned to get my other social media back, but I honestly don't know if I want to. I
I
think,
wouldn't blame you.
yeah, I think I just want to have my presence on YouTube.
And that's the thing too, because I was over here thinking like YouTube was dying. Nah, Instagram's dying.
I don't think
Instagram's
YouTube
dying.
could die. Like, if YouTube dies, I think it makes too much money. YouTube is like a Google. So I don't
Yeah,
think
it's the Google of
Instagram is.
videos.
And I just think, right, exactly. And I just think YouTube has a more authentic environment than um, Instagram does. Like people on YouTube are genuinely doing what it is that they love to do every day. Like
Right.
that's solely what their platform is about, whatever it is that they love. Instagram, I think it's just inauthentic. I think everybody just tries to prove to other people that they're at some type of status or they're just following the trends of what's happening because everybody on that I, I don't know. I just don't feel like there's much authenticity on Instagram.
It's very draining and negative, like mentally and like emotionally too.
Yeah.
Like I just don't think it like brings any value besides memes. I think that's about it.
Yeah. The funny videos that be on there.
Right.
But
That's all
yeah,
Instagram
it's
gives
like
me is just memes.
yeah, like you just have people you've gone to school with, your family on there, and it's just like, what do you know, you don't really support it, you don't like anything. I don't know.
Yeah, that's when it becomes discouraging is like you have friends that you see every day and they don't even like your post. Like they know you posted. Oh yeah, I saw your
Yeah,
post, but did you like it? Like,
right. You're
hello?
not gonna support me. And I think that's
Like
what it
what?
is. Like people are too afraid to support of thinking. I feel like they think they might be like fans if they're supporting. But I mean, I think it's
Yeah.
important that we're all inspired by somebody. None of us have
Hmm.
original thoughts, or it's very, very rare that we have original thoughts. But a lot of us, we will definitely always have a group that we relate to or have some people that inspire us because we are alike. There's so many people on this
Hmm.
planet. We're bound to have similarities. And you know, it's okay to be inspired. It's just different from
Right.
you can't copy that person, but of course be inspired and take that inspiration and make it your own. But I don't know, like just Instagram. And everybody feels this way. I think a lot of people are deleting their Instagram.
And honestly, like, I don't blame them at this point because there's just nothing there that adds value,
Yeah,
right? Because,
unless
like,
you're like,
YouTube, you can learn. You can
mm-hmm,
learn from YouTube, right? Like, your
right.
videos are very informative. Like, every time, like, someone wants to talk about mental health, I'm like, Alyssa!
I love that. So I'm saying fitness. You can go to M. You can go to, I think, really just like the friends that I do have now. You're the only one that really does fitness. But yeah, like who I keep in my circle, if anybody is struggling, of course, like I guide them towards that person just to help, whatever they're going to. I
Mhm.
I personally don't know much about fitness, but I know somebody who does. Emily, she just started a podcast. She
Right.
has her Instagram where she uploads like her reels and stuff. You can watch her videos to learn something. And I think that adds a lot also, and having
Right.
friends that are all doing something impactful just to help,
Yeah.
everybody else around them.
I honestly agree with that. And it goes full circle again to this book because he talks about keeping people like who actually want to move up in life and they have higher vibrations and the
Hmm.
people that are stagnant have the lower vibrations. But
Hmm.
it's true. Cause like being around people that like are aspiring to do something with their life brings your energy up too. Cause they
Hmm.
have goals. They can see themselves doing better. They have higher
Hmm.
energy. They have higher vibes. And the people down here just don't want to move. So
And
that's why I love keeping you around because you're just
yeah,
so like,
same. But for me, like I always give grace to those people who are feeling stagnant because I feel like I was once that person that probably didn't carry the best vibrations, the best energy because I was so lost within myself. And I feel like that's where a lot of people struggle with is just finding themselves and, getting that
mm-hmm,
kickstart onto their journey. And then you just generally have people that are negative, that are intentionally aware of what they're doing, and they just choose to be a negative person. So those I set aside,
yeah,
but there are people who are lost and they may want out but not sure how. And I know when our mental health isn't the best, of course we're not outputting the best as far
mm-hmm,
as like how our energy comes across to other people. Um, but I just say for those people, and if you feel like that, to just try switching things up, doing things that are make you intentionally uncomfortable so you can learn to start overcoming some things and start gaining that confidence within yourself because that's really what it took for me.
mm-hmm. And I guess we're coming up on the last couple questions here. What are some of the books that you would recommend? I know you said you recommend the Flow book,
So this one, since I'm
and
still reading it, it's a really good
uh
book. And I want to quote the book real quick. There's a line in the book that says, without focus, consciousness is in a state of chaos. And that is true. I could
mm-hmm,
not focus on anything. I wanted to be up here, but without that focus to like get me here, I was all over the place. And that kind of
mm-hmm,
caused so much unnecessary delay on my own growth because I was not focusing. I was not focusing on myself, what I needed to do in order to get myself there. I was focusing externally and focusing on like what the next person was doing to get to and how they got to where they're at so that I could get there. And if
mm-hmm,
it, like I said, if it's not coming from a place of authenticity, it's just not going to work. You really have to do that inner work to correct everything that you are lacking from within in order to start growing on the outside and start achieving these things. Um, so again, without focus, you're not going to get very far because your mind is going to be in a state of chaos. It's going to be everywhere, just pinging from the next thought, the next action. and just bouncing all around. So it's really important to
Mm-hmm.
have focus and have intention on what it is that you want to do. Again, that book is called Finding Flow. I do not know the I know the author, but I cannot pronounce his name. And like if I
That's
showed you the
okay.
book, it's just called Finding Flow. It's a blue book, and you'll know when you see it, especially when you read the author. You're gonna be like, "Yep, this is the one that she was talking about."
Yeah.
But the two books that I recommend, and they're actually by the same author. The first one is called The Mountain Is You by Brianna Weiss.
Oh, really? I
Yes,
have that on my recommended that I like.
read it.
Mm-hmm.
That was my second book
Mm-hmm.
after Rich Dad Poor Dad. And Rich Dad Poor Dad, that's a very good book financially, but I think finances, they're not really important because that's just all part of the system. It's all made up. I think what's really
Mm-hmm.
important is focusing on you, your soul, your spirit, and the type of
Mm-hmm.
person that you want to be. So if you're bad with finances, I suggest that book, but I want to focus more on the self growth books. Um,
Yeah, I would agree. So actually, it's super funny that you say that because like I have this whole Pinterest board of like a bunch of books
I
I
wonder
want
if
to
the
read.
second one is on there. Do you have another one? This is How You Heal.
Yes,
That's the second one.
that's on
Those
there too.
are the two books that I
Look at
recommend.
that. That's right there. That's the book.
Yep. I think The Mountain Is You is the black cover, and This Is How You Heal is the white cover. They're both by the
Mm-hmm.
same author. She is an amazing author. Her execution in that book was perfect. It's easy to understand. The Mountain Is You, just to give you a summary, is basically saying that you are standing in your own way and you need to move so that you can start becoming the person that you want to become and start achieving the things that you want to achieve. This is how you heal is how to kind of heal those wounds, as far as childhood trauma or just struggling with self-belief, um, gaining discipline and just healing yourself and just
Mm-hmm.
getting yourself to become a better person. Um, and this is how you heal because that is the book that I recommended to my friends, and they just have trouble starting it. And when I said you'll not be the same person after reading it, is because in the book, before the book even starts, that's one of the first things that she says. I'll see you on the other side. I think it's like I'll see you on the other side or something, just insinuating that you're not going to be the same. You're going to be a whole completely different person coming out, and that is true. I realized so much in that book. It has what caused me to have so much self-awareness within myself and what I need to correct in order to
Mm-hmm.
get me to where I want to be. So those two are my top two. I do have some honorable mentions if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
um, Don't Believe Everything You Think is a really good book. It's a very short read too. It's a little thin book. But this has helped me not believe all of my thoughts because I would get lost and consumed in my thoughts and entertain it, but your thoughts are just thoughts. They're not facts. And I think we entertain these useless thoughts and run with it. And that
Mm-hmm.
causes so much, mental problems because we're entertaining these thoughts that don't even matter.
Right.
And it's just being mindful and aware of what is coming across your mind as you're thinking, and just, is this something worthy to think of, or is this just some BS, and just kicking it and deading that as it's coming across your mind and only allowing and believing facts.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to get control of your thoughts, Don't Believe Everything You Think is a very good book. And The Alchemist. I really enjoyed The Alchemist.
I've heard of this book too.
That was a very good book. And it's kind of just what I'm doing is just pursuing your dreams. And in the book, the boy is just kind of hesitant on following his dreams. Like he thinks he's okay with just where he's at. But he's always going to have that longing thought in the back of his mind for the rest of his life if he doesn't achieve what it is. And that goes the same for us. And going back to me doing YouTube and stuff like that, YouTube was something I always thought about for 10 years, but it took me 10 years to start, but it's something that was always in the back of my mind because uh,
Mhm.
half the time that thought is what you're meant to do. And if we don't do it, we'll never feel fulfilled when we can pursue what it is that we want to pursue.
Right. I would agree with that.
So that's a very good book too. I really like The Alchemist. And I think
And
those are
then
just, yeah, those are like my top few books.
that's good. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like those books are super good. And
I'm
like
excited for you to read
I
them.
can't really say I can't really say much about my books because like again, I'm like 10-20 minutes a day. Like I don't read that much.
It's
But
still
I make some
good. And
time for
that's,
it. Yeah.
and for anybody listening and you feel like you struggle with reading, read a paragraph. Buy a book, read a paragraph. Start with the paragraph if you find it really hard to read. Because for me, I used to read all the time when I was little. I used to read so much, I got in trouble because I would be in class reading my book and the teacher's trying to teach a lesson and I'm not paying attention. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times I got my books confiscated. But and then there was like just a long window of me that just I just stopped reading. And I finally started to pick back up on it last year and I forgot how good for your soul it is. How much
Mm-hmm.
knowledge you get and just what you're reading and consuming. It has helped my growth tremendously reading. And that is why I recommend it to everybody. But I know sometimes it's hard for people to sit down and have focus,
Mm-hmm.
especially like when we're conditioned to social media and having like 10-second attention spans. So I say
Yeah.
if it's really hard, just focus on reading a paragraph a day, then turn that paragraph into a page. Turn that page and then 2 pages. And then you'll find yourself reading chapters or 2 chapters. And you may never
Mm-hmm.
be able to put the book down. So it's just working your
Yeah.
way up to it. So I always recommend because I know it's hard to just, if it's not part of your norm, to just pick up a book and read a whole chapter. Um, don't put that much pressure on yourself. Just open it, read a paragraph, a couple sentences, and just work from there.
I also heard what makes it super easy for people to pick up reading is to actually annotate the book. Like highlight it, write in it, circle like what's important to you. So
Hmm.
you remember what you're reading to. To go off
Yeah,
the attention span thing, I was
yeah.
listening to a girl talk about it. She buys books that are pre-annotated. Like she
Oh,
reads,
nice.
yeah, so you can buy these on I think Etsy or something.
Okay.
And they're pre-annotated, so someone else already read the book, annotated it. So then you feel like you're reading with someone.
Sorry.
Well,
Yeah, that was really loud. It was a horn. A horn.
yeah. So like she was saying like it makes you feel like you're reading with someone. So if you feel like discouraged with reading, you can buy pre-annotated books.
It's so funny now that you said like reading with someone. I will sometimes like read out loud, like I'm reading to a class.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
I mean, sometimes I like to do it like that. Sometimes I'll just keep it all in my head, like just read in my head. But sometimes I'll really pretend that I'm reading to a class, and that helps too. Just saying it
Yeah,
out
cuz
loud
like
too. And so you don't
I
get
like to
caught
think about it.
slipping when somebody asks you to read a paragraph and you ain't read since high school.
Right. But for me, like I love reading and like things come full circle. I'm like, oh
Hmm.
my God. So then I keep reading and reading. I'm like, oh my God.
It just clicks, right? You're
Hmm.
just, bro, there's been so many times where I'm reading a book and I'm just
There's a camera in here.
you're just like, so, and then you just keep reading because you're like, it makes
Right.
sense. You really
But
have
it's
to
like
take that
exactly
moment.
like how it went down too. It's like, how'd you write a book about me?
I don't even know, right? I don't even know who you are.
Right. Right. You got a
But
camera on me.
it shows that how much we are so alike and how much that we all go through the same thing. Though we have
Right.
different versions of ourselves that we may want to become, we have different versions of success and what we may want for ourselves. We're still all the same, though. We deal with the same
Mhm.
emotions, the same cycles, like for women, the same cycling period. So, as far as our energy levels and how they all fluctuate during that time, we're still all connected as one, even though
Mhm.
we are different at the same time.
Right.
Different, but still the same.
Yeah. And like everyone learns from other people's experiences. I think that's why it's important to read books.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to like learn from other people's point of view and then take it for your own, how you interpret it, and then
Mm-hmm.
like reflect on it and then like, go about it. Like,
Yeah.
are you going to put this in your life? Are you not going to? How are you going
Mm-hmm.
to like let it affect you?
It really helps. It's almost like therapy, I'm
Mhm.
not gonna lie. I wouldn't substitute it for
Yeah.
therapy, but it definitely helps.
Right. Like, yeah, if the next book you're going to read, I would just say like Good Vibes, Good Life is a good book.
I'm gonna check that one out next. And for
Yeah, I
you,
think the guy's name is like Hex
good
or Rex or something,
text or Rex.
maybe.
Okay,
Something
so
like that.
I'm
Hold on.
gonna read that if you read one of The Mountain Is You or This Is How You Heal. One of those.
His name is Vex King.
Vex. So not Hex or Rex. Vex.
No, it was EX. That's all I knew.
Vex
But
King.
yes,
I'm about to
it's
add this.
definitely on my list of books I want to read. And I have like this whole little Pinterest board. And honestly, to go back on social media,
Mhm.
I know this is like a super long podcast. I don't even care.
I like it
To
though.
go back.
I like it.
Right. Because Pinterest used to be so toxic for me. Because I was like, oh yeah, like all it is just like thin spo. Like, oh, like you need to be super thin. Like that's all I saw on Pinterest.
Mhm.
And it was like Tumblr. Like it was super discouraging. But now like I re-downloaded Pinterest and I created my own little boards. So I have like
Yeah.
a travel board of like places I want to go. I have
Hmm.
outfits to inspire me to
Yeah.
dress better because I like
Hmm.
to dress like a bum most of the time.
I'm trying to work on a new wardrobe too.
Right. And then I have like houses like I would build in like different
Hmm.
locations and I have like all these little things. And I have books I want to read and it just like it helps me look at it and I'm like, "Okay, this is good inspiration." Right. Mhm. Mhm. It is. I yeah. I mean, I preach that like all the time now. It's just like manifesting is super important and envisioning too. Like manifesting with envisioning, like that together is like chef's kiss. Mhm. Mhm. Right. Right. Mhm. Right. It's like putting it in like a positive context instead of a negative context. It's like that's what I want for myself. This is what I'm working towards. I'm going to keep seeing it until I get it. Right. Right, for sure. Mhm. Mhm. That is 100% true. Yeah. I'm proud of you. I've seen you grow and it's just so no good. Yes. Yeah. Yes, we can definitely do more. Okay. No, I think that's it. Did you have any questions for me? I um I actually don't know. I just post. Yeah. Like I just stopped caring. Yeah, I just stopped caring. So I think so I posted my seventh one. This would be the eighth one. And so far with it, I've learned a lot of things. I learned I have to actually have the microphone pointed towards me. Like, I was talking into the side of the microphone. I didn't know. That whole time, like the first like three episodes, one, I was talking into the like computer. I wasn't even using my microphone because I didn't switch it on. Secondly, right, and that's only like seven episodes. And now like the quality is better. Like I'm recording into the microphone now. I'm actually talking into it, not the side of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, so I think that's about it for this episode. Is there anything else that you wanted to say before we go? Mm-hmm. 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 That is true. All right, whenever you're ready, just like it is. It's just like maybe it's just the time of the month, you know? Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Right. That is very important. Okay. All right. Thank you for coming on. I definitely appreciate it. Okay. Of course. All right. Bye.